There, I went to a wedding, like an Indian wedding, where they fucking the MC was for like 30 minutes was trying to get people to sit down because they wanted to bring the bride and groom. But the same thing happened. Everyone was just
bars packed.
Yeah, bars packed, and they're like, "Nah, fuck those guys." We're like, "Yo, this is what we're here for."
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Immigrant Section. It's your boy Abbas Wahab saying thank you for tuning in, my people. What's poppin'? Canada, we're coming on tour. They're Going Places tour with myself and the guest today, my guy. He's here with me. He was on tour at the Immigrant Section tour we did in Ontario. Find us all over the country. Tickets at abbaswahab.com. But enough of that, my boy back in the Immigrant Section, the homie, Jesse Singh.
What's going on? Thank you for having me back, bro.
Respect, homie. Thank you for reaching,
No,
bro.
of course. Dude, what is this? Episode 3? No, this was 3 episodes I've been on, right?
I think you've been on like 4 or 5 times. Like this was probably the 4th time at least.
Yeah.
You've been on enough times.
Buddy,
bro.
I've been in the come up with the environment changes too.
I love you. That's why I like having repeat people on because they see it. You know, you came to the basement, right?
Yeah.
And you came back when it was at what's it called? Remember with Patrick and Much? Remember?
Oh, in the actual Bell Studio thing. Yeah.
Early on, bro.
Yeah,
It's
that
been
was
almost 4 years of this shit at this point, bro.
But not crushing it, dude. This is crazy.
I appreciate. Usually we have the producer Dante, but my man is in Jamaica right now on vacation.
That's
you know,
cool with it.
Yeah, he's chilling, going home to see family. He's gonna come back just like he's with a baby mama somehow. He's gone 2 weeks. Like shit, Dante, you're more Jamaican than I thought.
Have you ever been?
I've never been. You?
Buddy, lit, bro.
Yeah.
It's dope. I went like when I went. I've never been on a resort though. Every time I went, I was like in town. Like
Legit. Every time. How many times you gone?
3 times. No, twice. But I'm going the 3rd time.
Bro,
but
knowing you probably went for retreats.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You were like,
I went with school, but like we were just like working with like other organizations and shit there. But like we were chilling in town. But like it was crazy because like my professor was telling me a story about this. Like the town we were working in is like it's called Mona Commons in Kingston. And like, yo, fam.
Wait, it's a town in Kingston? I thought Kingston was a city.
Kingston's, but you know how there's like there's like Vaughan, but Vaughan has like Maple, Woodbridge, shit like that.
So it'd be like Leslieville.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, shit like that.
Gotcha,
So it's like, it's called Mona Commons, which is like a small community. And they call it like I guess, I don't know if it's the province, if that's what you would say, but like the parish, like there's like parishes, right? That's what they're split up into. And each parish has its own little city district. And like, that's where we were. But my professor was telling me this story about one time he hopped on a bus because we were taking public transit. And this lady came and she told a bus driver that she had to drop her kid off to daycare. And she just handed the baby to the bus driver as she cut. And then the bus driver handed the baby back, all the way back to my professor, who's a white guy. And they're like, here, you hold this. And then the man sat with the baby until the bus stop that they had to get off at. And then they just passed the baby to the front of the bus. But like...
and then the bus driver dropped it off to the daycare?
Like, yeah, because it was on the way. It was like on the route. But like, think about how fucking crazy that is. Because like everyone there is like, it's so communal that like that's a norm. Like, it's like, yo, okay, there's a baby on the bus. We got to make sure the baby gets off. You can't do that shit here. Fucking call CAS or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yo, we're at Dufferin. Bring the baby up. Pass the baby up. Dufferin's coming up next.
But the fucking, you hop on a TTC bus. Imagine that. So I was like...
That's wild. That's the power of white people all over the world. They're like, give it to that white guy. That strange white person in the back. They'll take care of it. He's probably with the UN. You know what I mean?
The UN.
That's wild, huh? What did you do when you were out there? Were you like youth shit? Like,
yeah, like there was like, so like everybody had different like placements and shit. Like some people were working in like hospitals. We were working in like a foster care center, and I worked at a high school. And like basically when we were, you know what's crazy? You know how over here everyone's like it's racist to go up to a black person and be like, yo, can I touch your hair? But over there, all the kids just wanted to play with the white people's hair because they're like, yo, what? Like, why does it look like this? Like, you know what I mean?
It's so straight.
They were so fascinated. They were like braiding it and shit. And like, it was crazy, bro. I loved it. But like,
the white people get accused of appropriating when they come back. They're like, nah, they braided it, bro. I didn't. I had no say in it, bro.
I did it for the kids, you know.
That's
but like, Yo, it wasn't like, I don't want to give the wrong impression, because like when people talk about like volunteering abroad, they think you go there and you build a well or some shit.
Yeah, that's immediately. I'm like, did you give a motherfucker food, water?
Yeah, no, it wasn't that, fam. That's not what, because yo, like this was literally, we're just going there to learn how like that type of work is done there. Like the same youth work that we do here, we just went there to be like, all right, how do you guys do youth work? And we're like learning like new like trades and shit about like skill sets, what we could bring back home and like what we could implement there. And that's all we were doing. Like it was just like building partnerships. It wasn't like what people think it is, or you go to
you go to third world, and help and swat the flies out of their face, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
so
that
many flies. I got no energy. That's so you did social service stuff, right? Yeah, bro. Yo, my boy's got one of the biggest fucking hearts in the game, bro. Yo, come see us out on tour. My nigga's got a heart, bro. Yo, doctors are looking at his heart like, yo, this is not safe, bro. This nigga's got the opposite of the Grinch's issue. But yo, like, when they're training doctors and they're done medical school and they're going to residency, especially like ER doctors, they'll have placements in very hospitals that are within the jurisdiction. I don't know if that's even a word. Like hospitals, but like of dangerous areas. So I remember this one guy, I listened to him on a podcast who's like pretty much an ER surgeon. And like south side of Chicago, there's like a 100-year hospital that a lot of residents would go to because they'd have motherfuckers with gunshots coming in every day, like multiple gunshots, stab wounds, everything. So these motherfuckers are learning on the job. So I love that. That's exactly what you guys are doing there. They're like, you want to learn social service? Let's go to Jamaica, see where motherfuckers need this shit, and we'll bring that knowledge back.
But fam, it was, and like, yo, like I said, the biggest thing I brought back was like, even though there were circumstances where like in terms of financially, there was like certain communities that we went to that like might not have like physical things accessible, like, you know, running water or like access to like just like a sustainable income and shit like that. On a communal level, on a community sense, they fucking surpassed us. Because over there it was like, it's normal for someone to come into a neighborhood and like not and be new to it and not have a home and shit, and like people would just literally come together and just build you a house like out of fucking anything, fam.
Oh yeah,
like
the tin roof,
the
mud concrete.
Yeah, bro. So like on that sense, it's like
way past.
Yeah, way past, bro.
That's wild. Because I remember even in Sudan, there'd be like when I was there in the summers, motherfuckers would show up sometimes just hungry. They're like, yo, like I literally like they'd be wandering from village or whatever. Yeah. And they just show up like, yo, I'm fucked up. I need water and food. And they would just be like, yeah, I get that nigga plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, he's just a random mother. He's just like, and he goes on his way. You know what I mean? But it's like, there is that sense of like, it reminds you more of the animal kingdom. Here in the Western world, we're kind of like the human condition here is getting very separate from the animal kingdom, where it's like, you know what I mean? It takes a village to raise a child, all that type of shit, the way elephants raise an elephant and shit.
Yeah.
It's more like that in these places. These socio-economic disparaged places are actually closer to that shit, huh?
Yeah. No,
it's wild. No. You're like, yo, we're advanced, but it's like, if you don't have money, like if you need help, like right now, you're probably more fucked. Here you may get welfare after you get your health card and your passport together and you do all the paperwork. So there's more social services, but it's like, I need help. I need a place to stay right now. It's better off in these places.
Yeah, not fact.
Go to the mosque. They'll take you in. Like the mosque will take you in and feed you too.
Yeah,
like all the religious establishments.
And fam, that's the other misconception is that people have is that like when they do this volunteering abroad shit and they're like, yo, let me go there and let me build a school or whatever. It's like, bro, you can't even build a fucking birdhouse. Like you're going to go there, build a whole ass facility.
Zero carpenting skills.
Yeah.
Motherfucker never held a hammer.
Yeah, trust me. And it's not like people don't have the ability to build something themselves. They just don't have the resources. There's a fucking difference. And what's going to happen when you build a school and you cut? Like, you know what I mean? And the school needs repairs. You just left them with no tools, with no fucking supplies to fix shit if it breaks. And you left. And in your head, you're like, oh, yeah, look what I did.
That's exactly what America does with democracy. You know what I mean? They go into Iraq, democracy, peace. They're like, what the fuck? Peace, motherfuckers. Figure it out. We got all the oil. Figure that shit out. Try to put oil in your cars now. Yeah, bro, it is a problem. They come and they facilitate shit and they dip. They got all the Instagram pictures they need, bro. You know what I mean?
It's all those white savior movies too. Like, you ever see where like the white guy like just coaches kids from the hood?
Oh, 100. There's 100 of those movies. Oh, and Black and Coach Carter.
Yeah.
Coach Carter is the one we all remember though.
Yeah, Hardball was honestly, it was like one of my favorite movies. But then when I watched it recently, I still love it. But like some of the stuff in there, I'm just like, this is insane. Like,
which one was that one?
Hardball is the one with Keanu Reeves. He's teaching the kids how to play baseball.
And are they black kids or
yeah,
Hispanic
they're black kids. And G Baby, he's like 9 years old or 10 years old in the movie, and he gets shot on a drive-by.
Oh yeah, I do remember that movie.
Yeah, it was a fucking kid, bro. And I'm like, this is
hard shit.
This is insane, bro.
Like, exactly. It's white writers.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Get the cutest kid. He's dead in a drive-by. She was like, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
fuck, bro.
He goes into a bar. I remember there was one scene. Keanu Reeves goes into a bar. This guy's fucked up, and he starts singing Big Papa because that's what one of the kids used to sing when he was pitching. So he starts singing Big Papa, and he pays back like the bartender or whatever. And the man said something about like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Just keep coaching black kids from the ghetto?" And he's like, "You don't know shit about those kids. You don't know shit
about that." Like he was ready to scrap.
Like,
yo, my tooth just hit the mic, bro. You know. This is before his fucking what's it called?
Matrix?
No, yeah, no. This is after Matrix. This is before John Wick.
Oh,
yo, he almost John Wick that motherfucker. He's like, in a couple of years, I would have fucking shot you 8 times, bro. Man, we make fun of those movies, but we all love those movies. There's certain types of movies that just always work. They always work. They just rinse and recycle the whole story, and they just do it every 10 years. You know, I love that shit.
Yo, you know what's one? Now that you bring that up, though, there's one movie that like is a fucking cult classic I've never seen. Have you seen Free Willy?
I've never seen.
Buddy, I've never fucking seen it either.
Is it a cult classic?
I think so. Like everyone has seen, unless it's like just a white people cult classic.
Yeah. Cult classics usually are white people, you know?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. But like, I don't understand like what was so big about it. It was just a kid that saved the killer whale or some shit.
Dude, I don't even know. I just always saw the Simpsons like parodies of like Free Willy, like he's jumping over and he lands on him. They do it like free HBO, free Cinemax, Free Willy, like all these Simpsons jokes, which a lot of the movies that I've never seen, I kind of get the gist of the most pivotal point of the movie just based on satire in The Simpsons. But never seen that shit and never wanted to. I never been like, yo, babe, next fucking Thursday, Free Willy, yo. I got it. I just torrented it. Free Willy tonight.
Yeah, I never saw the fucking that or even E.T. Have you seen E.T.?
I have seen E.T. Yo, you're missing out, bro. Yo, yeah, you know what I mean? Yo, this guy's missing. E.T., that's fucked up, yo. That's the E.T. should be part of like the Canadian citizenship exam, bro. But you were born here, right? Yeah, my boy. You just missed the cut, bro. You just fucking you got grandfathered in. But E.T. is like, it is a classic. 100%.
It is good.
It's like a full movie. You know what truly the best movies are? Pixar movies.
Oh, buddy, all of it. Like, I don't think I've seen a bad Pixar movie.
Pixar movies are so goddamn good. And I was just talking to AJ Bate, obviously, you know, comedian AJ Bate, who's a filmmaker now. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's written a bunch of scripts. He's filmed a bunch of shit and truly talented. Like, I've watched some of his shit. Bro, I watched a short he did, short film, 30 minutes at the end. I watched it. He gave me like the locked link. Yeah. Bro, I watched it. Bro, I applauded at the end, bro. Straight up. Like, it's got a little funny here and there, but it's mostly like drama and truly great. Yeah. Like, truly great. I'm like, wow, this guy's gonna be fucking, his shit's gonna like, he's gonna click. Yeah. And his shit's gonna take off 100%. But we were talking about, because me, Conrad, and my buddy Mark, we're working on a feature. We kind of did a web series. Yeah. And we adapted it to a feature. So we're going to make it a movie. And now we're just kind of like massaging the script and trying to figure shit out. But I was talking to him after a show and he goes, bro, you want to figure out exact way how to tell a story? Go and watch Pixar movies. Because Pixar movies are like, that's the rubric, the stencil for a perfect story. Like everything is perfect. The exact moment that the low point and the high point and the catharsis and act 1, act 2, act 3 structure, perfect. That's why every time you watch a Pixar movie, like, they're simplified.
Yeah.
They're not that complicated, but because of that, they're so consumable. They're so, like, you relate so hard with Toy Story. Bro, Toy Story 3 had adults crying. I was almost choking up in the theater with that movie. Like, Toy Story 3, I'm like, yo, I'm going to theaters to watch that shit.
I remember I watched it like online. I streamed it and it froze at the part where fucking they're in the furnace or whatever.
No. yeah,
freaked the fuck.
People
I was
crying.
like, I was like, no, fam, this is a pic. They can't be dead, bro. What the fuck? You just see Woody's eye melting and shit.
No. But there's a bunch more now. That I had a Disney Plus password. Now it's like anytime I get a password, I gotta consume all the good shit on this platform before this password stops working. But there's a bunch of sick ones, bro. There's
like
one called
shorts.
No, full Pixar movies. I don't know if you're on them. I know with the social with your work, maybe you do watch more Pixar movies.
Buddy, no,
You sit these traumatized kids down. You're like, here, motherfucker. Watch Finding Nemo.
You ever see Inside Out? You know what I mean?
There's one called Soul about
I fucking loved it, bro.
How good was that movie?
Such a good movie, dude.
How good was that movie, man?
Insane, man. And like, but like, even that's what I was actually gonna bring that up when you say like they make it so consumable. Is like to talk about
not consumable, sorry, digestible.
Yeah. But like to talk about something like as heavy as death and like existentialism to fucking, but like
7-year-old.
Yeah, is like insane. And there was definitely, and I think they know that like parents are watching this with their kids, so they'll throw in shit that like adults would get, like the little soul of Albert Einstein and stuff. Kids aren't gonna get that.
Dude, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they do it, they intertwine it from the beginning till the end. And it's not even specific references. It's just the whole story, the way it's genius because at all times it's being fully digested by adult and children and everyone in between. And it's not even just like the Albert Einstein reference and this reference. It's the dialogue all the way through. Like the guy with the clipboard, just his general personality is funny. It's just like, oh, that's the prick HR person.
Yeah.
Like
or the hilarious character too that I thought was the guy that's dancing with the sign.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because that's a real guy.
Zen in his mind.
Because he's super zen, but to the adults, you're like, oh, that guy is methed out. Yeah. To the max. That's a crackhead who's doing that for money.
Yeah.
I love that shit. And I love every time the portal opens, it's like, oh. It's all this death, fucking like super ominous like sound. Love that shit, man. Yo, Pixar movies are on. And I forgot there was a couple other ones I watched, but like there's one like In the Mind. Like
Inside
Anger. Out. Is that Inside Out?
Yeah.
That one wasn't as good as Soul, but that one was like, it was good too.
No, that one wasn't. But like also that girl was going through some shit, bro. Like she's fucking 7 years old.
Yeah.
She hops across town. And I'm like, just because you moved into a new house, how fucking traumatized us?
Exactly, right? That's that white experience, right? My friends aren't here. I better run away. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. They should do that movie from like the point of view of a kid in fucking a village. You know what I mean? In wherever the fuck. There's not 1,000 countries, but enough countries that they can go to. Like, that's actually what I really liked about that show. What was it? I think it was Rami at the... Did you watch Rami?
No, but I've seen Mo. Have you seen that?
I love Mo too.
Same writers.
I actually like Mo. I like Mo more than Rami.
Mo is dope, man.
Yeah.
Mo is sick.
Because Mo is based on his real life. All those stories depicted, you know, obviously there's fiction here and there, but him being in the state of a asylum, an asylee.
Yeah.
And not being able to do this and that and waiting forever and leaving his dad in Kuwait and running from the war. All that stuff is real.
So like his addiction to lean and shit was all real.
His addiction to lean, I don't know if it's true, but here's the thing. I'm writing the script with these guys and like that's like a plot device.
Yeah.
The addiction in my thing, like I'm the lead character in it or like I'm playing the lead character in it and their thing is smoking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you need this device to be like, oh, fuck, things are getting rough. Oh, he's succumbing to this shit. Yeah. But then you need a moment to be like, you're reaching for it, and then you go, nah. Because then you tell the audience, oh, fuck, he's improving. Yeah. Oh, fuck, he's going in a better direction. Or, oh, fuck, he just drank too. He's slipping right back. Yeah. It's like a way to tell people the state that you're in. But maybe you got addicted to it. I'm not even sure, bro.
Like a moment of, like, I think what it also does, though, is that, like, it humanizes the character rather than making him like this fucking omnipotent what's the word?
Omnipotent. Yeah,
omnipotent.
I say omnipotent.
Yeah,
too.
omnipotent.
It's literally written as
Yeah,
omnipotent.
omnipotent.
Well, immigrants, nigga, fuck you. I mean, he was born here, but fuck off.
I used to say epitome.
Epitome?
Epitome.
Bro, I remember I have my good friend Ahmed, who wasn't born in this country, but he came here probably when he was 6. And I remember when we were like, I was 20 and he was like 21, and we're just sitting smoking hookah on someone's balcony. Yeah. And he goes to me, he's like, bro, you know what I just realized? You know when people go working hard or hardly working? I just realized those are opposites. I'm like, bro, get the fuck away from me. Took him 20 years. Well, you know people go, are you working hard or hardly working? He's like, oh, those are opposites. I'm like, yeah, you dumb fuck. It came out of nowhere. It wasn't the conversation. We're literally just smoking. He goes, bro, you know what I just realized? I'm like, bro, get the fuck away from me, man.
Oh, fuck. Buddy,
These realizations that come way too late in life. But I remember when I was a kid, I remember, you know, I came to Canada when I was 6. My older sister's like 11 or 12 when we came. And I remember when I was like 12, we were having something was happening at the house. Yeah. And we were watching something and a magician came up. And like, there's all this, the family's doing all this shit. And my sister pulls me aside. She goes, what the fuck's a magician? She's like 18 in Canada at this point. She's like, what's a magician? I'm like, someone who does magic. She's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. If you think about it, magician, you don't think magic.
Magic, no.
Right? You think magish. They do magish.
What the fuck's magish?
I don't know what the fuck. But like, if I told you magician, you never heard of the word, you'd be like, that's someone who does magish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, she came at 12, speaking only Arabic at that point. Yeah. So it's like, I'll give her that. But I remember just being like, she's looking at me like 6 years younger than her. I'm just like, someone who does magic. Oh, okay. We'll go back.
Oh, shit. Yo, you know what's crazy too? I've had this. I didn't know this wasn't a thing either. Like, I don't know if you guys do this on people's birthdays and shit. Do you guys, like, does the close relatives feed that person cake?
No, we don't even do birthdays.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, in my family, we do because, you know, we've been here so long. Yeah. But when I go to Sudan, unless it's well-to-do families that have money. Yeah. Because no matter where you are in the world, the people who have money, they celebrate birthdays. They celebrate everything, right? But, like, when I'm in the hill of the villages, everything, there's no, like, Eid Milad. Like, Eid Milad means, like, birth date. Yeah. It's not like, Eid Milad. Like, it's not like you don't celebrate birthdays. Yeah, you just celebrate fucking life and food. Yeah, that's it. And less struggle. Yeah. You know? But you guys feed cake? This is like Punjabi? Or what?
This is like I don't know if it's an Indian thing, but, like, basically if it's, like, someone's birthday, like, that, like, the close relatives or immediate family will, like, feed that person cake. Like, you'll cut a cake, you'll put it in a plate, whatever, and then each person will go up and feed this person cake. And like, I did that like a fucking white party once, and everyone's like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
You're like, you guys don't do the cake thing?
The funniest one though was my boy came to, like, we did a little thing, my family did a thing at like an Indian restaurant, and it was my birthday, and my boy was there. He's Bajan. He's from Barbados, and he was the only.
That's called Bajan?
Bajan. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
You're from Barbados. You're Bajan.
You're Bajan.
You're not
Barbadian. No.
You're Bajan.
Yeah, Bajan.
But and they're beige too. That's the crazy
like
part.
magician magic shit.
Yeah. Bajan. I would have never guessed that. Yeah. I would have assumed Asian and Barbados
like
mixed.
Asian and black or something.
Yeah.
But he's the only black guy in the restaurant. And my bro starts fucking with him, and he's like, yo, you got to feed him cake, which was true. But then he's like, right after, you got to kiss him on the cheek. But the thing is, he's super fucking homophobic, right?
You're being redundant. You said Barbados already, bro. You know, this nigga's being redundant. That's off Jamaican, bro.
This guy comes up, and he feeds me the cake, and he stands there like he's frozen.
And he's like...
I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this? Yo, and as soon as he did it, I was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
They told me what the fuck. They told me. Yo, and he probably knocked out whoever told him, bro.
So cheesed, bro.
Bro, man, I would never stop thinking about that in the thing. Bro, my God, bro. Like, at least Arabs will do the, you know, like being Sudan, it's like, it's pretty much Arab culture, right? So it's like we have Sudan culture, and it's like, you know, it's weird. It's like this middle thing where Arabs go, you're not Arab, and Sudan and blacks go, you're not black. And so it's like a weird thing. But like, you know, all my Arab friends growing up, all the shit they did culturally, we were doing culturally. You know, we didn't kiss on the side. Sometimes women do it, like Lebanese and Syrian. These guys, they'll do, you know, oh, okay, which is European too, right?
Yeah.
One kiss, one. You're not really kissing the cheek. You're just like, if the face was here, you go like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, if someone at my house kissed on the cheek like that, bro, my dad would be like, what are you doing, bro? You know what I mean? There's sus. Like, there's like the homophobia is built into the culture.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Let's go pray 5 rak'ahs right now. We're gonna undo this. Pray to God.
Control Alt Delete that shit.
Control Alt Delete that shit in the eyes of God. What's funny is growing up, I thought for some reason, because I grew up in such a strict Muslim household, I always had it in my head that like all the other immigrants had it the same, where I was like, white people have fun and we're all like this. You know
like we're all like, oh, we're all like serious and
serious
shit.
and shit. That's why like I used to assume like Punjabi Sikhs were the most hardcore because your head is wrapped. You know what I mean? Women in Islam have to wear the hijab. And like men in Sikhism have to wear the
turban and
the turban. So I was like, they're the most strict. But then like now as I grew up and like I started emceeing weddings, I have a whole bit about it where it's like they're more lit than white people. Like they're more lit than anyone, bro. They go crazy. I did a Punjabi I emceed a Punjabi real estate awards. They did like an Oscars. Punjabis is any excuse to drink. Bro. The whole event, 80 men were at the bar. They wouldn't sit.
No,
they wouldn't sit. And the worst is when like the brown organizer, like the CEO, is like, tell everyone to sit down now. It's like, I'm not gonna be. Like, you think they're gonna listen to me? They don't know me. No one sat down, bro. The whole just 80 men in a suit at the bar, bro. They never leave the bar,
bro. I went to a wedding, like an Indian wedding, where they fucking the MC was for like 30 minutes was trying to get people to sit down because they wanted to bring the bride and groom, but the same thing happened. Everyone was just
bars packed.
Bars packed, and they're like, "Nah, fuck those guys." We're like, "Yo, this is what we're here for."
Like, tell them everyone is at the other side of the door, ready. The family is ready to enter the hall. It's like I'm telling them that, bro. Like the fucking bartender is overworked, dude. Just like going hard. Like that's the funny thing where it's like I don't know when I made this conclusion in my head early on that it's like, oh, immigrants strict. It's just you just extrapolate as a kid from your own experience.
Yeah,
I mean, oh, this is all our experience.
I mean, I think there's truth in that, in a sense that like I feel like the whole idea of even my family is like very new. Like my uncle and them are very new into this idea of taking a vacation. You know what I mean? Like they didn't think about that shit before. That was like a fucking myth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like they would still drink and go off at parties and shit. But like the idea of like being able to take a break, like that was their break. Was like when there's a party, we'll take a break and we'll get fucked up. But there wasn't this idea that you're allowed to take time off
for 2 weeks.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is a very like, I don't want to say first world because compared to Europe, we're like the second world, you know?
Yeah.
Europe, they all got like fucking 5 week standard, bro. It's a whole different vibe out there.
Yeah.
Here we're like 2 weeks. 2 weeks vacation, if you think about it. There's nowhere in the world. See, the general like work is so much more relaxed in everywhere else in the world. Yeah. Even in Africa, because we stop for every salah, every prayer.
Yeah.
The azan goes off. Everyone stops. They close their little store down. We go pray. They don't open it up for 30 minutes. They come back. Friday, no one's working because it's Friday prayer. And it's like people are kind of like chilling. No one in Sudan, it's like our stereotype is like we're lazy. You know what I mean? I call it energy conscious, efficient. You know what I mean? Japanese people are efficient. They're getting all the hype, but we get none of the hype, bro.
They're eco-friendly.
Exactly, right? That's what we fucking invented that shit. We're like, yo, if we perspire, it fucks up the ozone layer. Then I'm gonna fucking sit my ass horizontal all day, bro. But like, the work level here, it's crazy because it's like, there's 52 weeks in the year. To say you get 2 weeks vacation that's insane.
Bro, and the other thing that I started realizing too is that like it's not it's not necessarily the amount of time that you work, right? You can have a 8-hour workday and literally only get like 4 hours of work done, but you're still there for fucking 8 hours trying to look productive or do whatever the fuck it is. It's about the efficiency. So like you can get the same amount of work done if you actually put your head down just for an hour.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Sweden or one of these, what's it called? Those guys. The Swedes.
Socialists?
No, yeah. Let's straight to Norwegians or whatever. Not Norwegians. That area of the world that everyone's like, but whatever the fuck, Swedes, Denmark.
Okay, I know. I don't know the word.
Those motherfuckers who ski
like
and shit, and they're tall as fuck. No, like, now I gotta Google this shit just to see. Swedes are considered. The first thing that came up is Vikings. Swedes are the obvious Caucasian race, descendants of the Swedes. Norwegians and Swedes are the same. Scandinavian.
Oh, okay.
Scandinavian. Okay. Like those motherfuckers, they got 4 or 5 hour work. I forget if it's 4-day work week.
Yeah.
Or like a 5-hour work. They change shit up. That's the thing about Canada, America. We'll never do. Like, you only can get a very new tech company that'll be like, it's a 4-day work week, But you'll never have a big corporation switch to 4 days. Even if it's like the data shows that everyone is more productive, the same shit gets done.
Fact,
they don't want to do that shit. Because I know guys that are going back to companies where during COVID, when they all worked at home, statistically it was proven that their profits were higher, efficiency was higher, and employee satisfaction was higher. Despite all of that, they're demanding they come back to the office. I know guys are demanding come back to the office 5 days a week.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like, you got to be back in Tuesday, Thursday, or some shit like 5 days a week. And everyone's like, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
We've proven that it's not necessary. It's just the company likes to see their human resource like investment. They like to see it. I'm paying for you, 80 G's a year or whatever the fuck. I want to see you in the chair when I come in. I'm paying you this much. I want to see you in the chair.
But that's also what that's also what confused me the most is that like if that efficiency is proven to be there, what are they gaining from people coming into? They don't
control.
If anything, they're losing out on
control. Now they got to pay for coffee. Now they got to pay for fucking this and that. Now they got to all this shit. There's so much more expenses because they probably have a long ass lease in their fucking building, right?
Okay.
But it's also like figure out a way to like rent that space out or make use of that space. But it's like people are gonna quit. People have worked from home, and like most people have adapted to like this. What's it called? Like a combo style, like a fusion hybrid. Schedule where you're saying like Tuesday, Thursday. That's fine. In fact, me personally, having not worked like a traditional job in years, I miss it to some level because even those 3 years of, especially those 2.5 years in Michigan where I was working in the automotive industry, I didn't like what I was doing. I was not passionate about anything I was doing, but I liked going in because we had a fucking ping pong table at work.
Yeah.
And there was one guy, Daniel, that I'd be like, "You're nothing, bro. You're nothing." He's like a father with like kids, and he's like, "I used to have a 6-pack." I'm like, "You're nothing, bro." And just like the camaraderie of going in, having a team, shooting the shit. I do fucking miss that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I was working from home right now fully, I'd be like, let's go back into office a couple days a week.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, Thursday, from like someone from the outside looking in, I think that's actually fucking sick. But to be like, you gotta be back here. Like, I don't know if you're Alistair, this one comedian, Alistair.
Yeah.
His job was fully like, he could do it fully remote. Nothing besides like a Zoom call. Like, to get all hands on deck once a week. No need to do, it's all spreadsheets, quantitative, blah, blah, blah. They're demanding he comes back in 5 days a week, and he's just like, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
I'm going to quit. Like,
bro, that's why the turnover rate for so many companies was stupid after COVID, bro. It was fucking nuts. Everybody was just quitting left, right, and center because they realized, like, one, I spend so much of my time commuting to work, spending my time there, that my whole day was gone. And now you realize that, like, I don't even need to be there to
do the job.
Yeah, to do the job. The only one thing I will say, though, personally, too, was the one thing that I noticed about remote work is that like my route, and I think this is my struggle, bro, is that like when I had to go to work, I knew I had to wake up early, go there, whatever, and like do all of that shit. But now it's like, because I don't have to go physically somewhere, it's like my whole routine is
It's
fucked
fucked.
up.
It's
Yeah.
fucked.
And that's what fucks with me. It's because like I always tell myself, oh, I want to get up early. I want to do this in the morning. But it's like I just can't get myself out because
There's
like,
no need. I
Yeah.
need to know that it's gonna be a problem if I show up
Yeah.
an hour late. I need that to be a problem.
That's what and that's fucked. That's like you need to have that self motivation.
I know, but it's because the system has been that forever.
Yeah.
Don't be late. Late employees get fired. Don't be late. Don't be.
Yeah.
It's basic. Don't be late. You know what I mean? Or have an excuse if you're late. You know, you could be 30 minutes late, but it's like now it's like there's no structure. Like even during COVID, before COVID, not working a job, I would go every day right at a coffee shop and then hit the gym.
Yeah.
Now they're both closed, and it's like okay, I guess I should be at a coffee. I guess I can write from home and do push-ups, but I'm not gonna, bro. The first 2 weeks, I was like, push-up, sit-up. Look at me. I'm like in a prison body. I've got that cell mentality, right? Pulling up the door jam and shit like that. But that shit disappears quick, man.
Yeah, bro. And it's fucking crazy. Like, even the whole, we were talking about that journaling thing a little bit earlier, too. Like, that was one thing I was consistent with. And then again, now it's just like, I don't know what the fuck happened. Now I'll do a show, I'll come home and be like, oh, it's late, bro. Like, I'll just kick in and go to bed or whatever. You know what I mean?
Do you used to journal when you got home at night?
Yeah.
That was your routine?
Yeah, that was my thing. Like, and it didn't matter how late it was. Like, I would just, even if I wrote for like just 2 sentences, I would write something.
Just, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Just for the habit of writing.
Yeah.
Would you ever be driving home be like, oh, I'm a journal that shit? Like, you know?
Sometimes I would tag it in my head. I would be like, oh, that would be something good to write down. You know what I mean? Like,
Like you've already thought of all of the reflection. You just need to write it.
But what I loved doing was just like free flow, like just like stream of consciousness type shit. Like you don't really think about a topic or anything. You literally just write down whatever thoughts are coming to your head. Because like out of that, something would pop up.
Like
you know what I mean?
as far as journaling, or is it when you sit down to write?
When you're saying writing, are you talking about writing comedy or just writing in general?
So like,
because
I get what you're saying.
My idea of journaling was
writing.
Just stream of consciousness. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna talk about my day. It was just whatever thoughts came to my mind, and if those thoughts were pertaining to the events of the day, then I would do that.
Look at this dude. That's the most balling out dude. Look at this. Look at this.
What's he doing?
He came from No Frills. The guy in the yellow. Didn't you see? The guy walking by, bro. This guy looked like 2 Chainz coming from No Frills. But like, I know what you mean, bro. Like when I journal, I write the title of the journal is just the day's date.
Yeah.
Today I did one October 1st.
Yeah.
And I just go into whatever's on my mind. I told you I kind of like bombed yesterday. So I was writing like, oh, I fucking kind of bombed. Shit, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But still, I can, it's easy to do the time, like type of stuff. But then a lot of the times I'll be like, when I write, I'll be like, yo, that one line never works. I gotta fucking go. Like, do you ever do a bit? You write a bit. Let's say you're journaling. You stumble on a funny topic. You're like, that's a bit. Right? And then when you're like, that's a bit, do you open up a new thing and kind of structure it a little bit? Or do you just make a note, or do you make a mental note to try it at, like, how do you, like, let's say you just journal about your day.
Yeah.
And you stumble upon some funny shit. What do you do the moment you're like, oh, that I want to take that to the stage? What do you do from that point?
You know what the crazy thing is? I've never written any of my jokes. Like, I don't have any and I don't know if that's
A lot. It's half and half. A lot of people are like that.
Yeah, but like the one thing that I do is, like, if I think of a premise or a tag that I think is funny, then I'll just go to like an open mic. But as of recently, what's been happening is, like, I'll just go to a book show that, like, smaller audiences, or like a bar show that's like inconsequential, and I'll just try out shit there. Like, you know what I mean? And I think the way I formulate it is that, like, I'll think of the tag or whatever is funny, and I'll just tell the story in its totality.
Yeah.
And then from that, I'll try to cut the fluff.
Do you record it?
Yeah. I'll record it, and then I'll think about it, and then I'll just try to, like, do the same story somewhere else with different tags and shit.
Exactly. And you're like, that whole part didn't really add anything, so let's just skip it.
Yeah. And that's ultimately it. And then I'll just try to keep taking out shit, changing it around until I feel like it's solid enough where I could try it at a club. And if it works at a club, then I'll keep it.
And it's part of the roster now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a sick system. The way I do it is that probably 85% of the jokes I do, their first form is written.
Yeah.
So like I'll I'll have a funny story of my dad, something. I'll just kind of write it how I think I would present it on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have a whole system. A slash is a pause. 2 slashes is double pause.
But when you
know
say
what I mean?
when you say written, do you mean like literally you'll write the joke word for word?
Like, no, the first step. So let's say, like, I notice Gunner every time we come out of the shower, Gunner's always trying to get a lick of the ass. You know what I mean? So like, I'll sit down with that. I'll be like, I got a freaky ass dog. You know what I mean? And I'll just I'll think about, I grab the mic. How would I say this? Here's the joke is he's always trying to he's a freak. I got a freak dog. Let's actually try to structure it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I take that to the stage.
Yeah.
And then I record it and I do it like, again, probably 2-3 spots a night. And, you do it, you change it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, you figure out what's funny, what's the funniest part, and how do I get there faster? How do I even open with that? And open with the funny, because sometimes you're opening up with the setup that's not necessary. All this backstory is not necessary.
Yeah.
So if you look through my shit, all the jokes that I have that have evolved to like a really polished thing, their very first form is like written like that. And early on, like 4 years ago, I used to go in and update the bit. But the bit evolved so much that I was like, this is stupid. This doesn't make any sense. Like, I can't keep going back to this document to update the fucking... Because I'm never looking at the document. Yeah. I'm never looking at the document.
You're just doing it.
I'm just doing the bit. So I'm like, why am I keep updating it as if one day I'm going to have amnesia and I'm going to need to remember my bits? So I was like... So now it's just like when I go, I'll be like, bombing. Bombing is funny. And then I'll go... I bomb a lot, but I'm bombing less. And then you do a little thing, and then that first step, that first stage, you take it to the stage, and then it like is just gone after that. But all the step one, they're all in there.
Has that ever happened though, where someone has seen you before and they come to another show and they're like, "Yo, how come you don't do this joke no more?" Or like
all the time, bro, because I write a lot, so that's a big problem where I have a lot of bits in B form. Yeah, and I just keep moving on. I never go, "Yo, okay, let's stop and bring this to an A." I have like, do you ever hear my joke about Common and how he's like preachy?
I've heard that's one of them. I've heard that I think once or twice. I don't think I've ever heard it.
That was one of those, like, sometimes with jokes you get it to a good place and you're like, sick. This is good. Let me put this here. Focus on this shit. Get this shit good, and you never come back to it. So that one, people always be like, bro, I never hear that Common bit. Bro, that Common bit. Yeah. And it used to work, but then tags were it was too mean. I realized now that I look back at it, I was attacking Common, like some of it was mean. No one hates Common. We all like Common. Yeah. But it's like if you do a joke about how he's preachy, it's funny because he is preachy, but we don't dislike him.
No.
So the bit I was doing was like, fuck this guy, he's so preachy, and people don't feel that way about him. People aren't like, fuck that guy. He is preachy, but no, not fuck him. He's sick.
Do you ever think there's a way to attack that angle without attacking him?
Now I wasn't even aware that I was attacking him. Because I had a bit where I was like, the bit was like, every time you hear a Common lyric, you know he's touching his temple, right? You know what I mean? Right? And I was like, and then I used to be like, that's why he's got all that shit on his face. You know, the dermatologist is like, stop touching your face. He's like, is it my diet? It's like, but what I noticed about crowds is when you make fun of skin blemishes, all the crowd pulls back. Yeah. Everyone is on some level insecure, or has some myself included, about skin blemishes specifically. Yeah. If you make fun of someone's acne or whatever the fuck, you better be an incredible joke, because most people automatically think about their own shit. Yeah. And they kind of pull back. So I would get rid of that part, because I was like, that's just mean. That's just attacking him. Yeah. And then it would work better. But then I got it to a point where it was kind of working great. And like I said, I moved on and I just never came back to it. And I got a lot of that shit where it's like, now it's like if I break it out when a moment comes up where Common is like, it's natural, organic in the moment.
You have something.
I do have something, but it's also in the form of like 3 years in. Yeah. I say the bit and I realize how like regimented it is. It's like line. There's no flow to it. Yeah. Because it's not my current level. Yeah. So it's just like joke, line. It's so like broken up.
Yo, and that's where I saw, I think, my own progression from. Like, I didn't, like, you know what? Because I feel like comedy's so weird to look at to see if you've gotten better over the years. And I think one of the measures that I've used is just comfortability. What the fuck is the word? Comfortability. Your
Omnipotent.
ability to become omnipotent, bro.
What's the other one?
Your ability to be
Epitome.
epitome.
That's the epitome of what I'm talking about right there.
But it's like, yo, like it started off with like, all right, I gotta construct enough material to have a solid 5. Then you have a solid 5, and it's like, all right, let me stretch this to a 7. And then it was like, okay, let me practice crowd
Can I do
work.
10?
Yeah.
Yo, that first time they're like, do 10. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. 10.
And then like structuring a set list and shit. And it was like all of these things. And then now I'm at a point where it's like, I just dismissed all of that, where it's like, all right, now I'm at a point where I'm like, fuck the set list, like fuck having like an order or a regimen in mind, and it's like, let me just go up there and see what happens.
Exactly.
Because
flow.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like you can't get to that position without having to do all of that first. Like you can't
skip it.
You can't skip it. Like you need to have a regiment until you can say, all right, let me just get rid of this, all of it, everything that I learned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you can't replace time.
No.
You know, like there's like let's say I recently wanted to put up some hooks that were like you buy it, they have a strong adhesive, you tape it up against the wall, and you got to wait a certain amount of time for it to adhere properly.
Yeah.
And when you Google it, and I needed to hook something to it quick, so I didn't have all the time. So I Google, how do you speed up the process?
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what I mean? Cold. And like add a little bit of this, and these are all like little tricks to speed it up. But it's like at the end of the day, that holding strength when you put it on too early, it'll never be the same as just time.
Fact.
You could do nothing to it, but just give it the time it needs.
Yeah, time it
and that's
needs.
stronger than any other thing. So it's like there's shortcuts, but it'll never replace just fucking time.
Yeah. Time and consistency, I think, is the other big piece.
Like, oh yeah, of course. Like if you're going up once a month, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're gonna be doing the same shit because you're like, I'm gonna do new stuff, but the next month, the hour before you do the show, you're like, fuck, fuck. There's no confidence. I gotta go back to. So you're just doing the same shit you'll do once a month,
100%
forever.
And yo, you know what? This reminds me of even like the whole meditation shit, because like I was super into that.
By the way, you went to a silent retreat, right?
Thailand, yeah, but that was like 2 years ago.
I thought you just went. Who just went? Did you go to silent retreat for 10 days or
7 days?
7 days.
But mine was in Thailand. Like I went to Thailand for that shit, and like I told you,
we were talking about it last time, right?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. But like I was consistent with it for a while. But even when I was there, like one of the biggest things they talk about meditation is like the consistency piece, up until to the point where you don't need any of those tricks anymore. Like in the beginning they tell you like focus on your breath, right? Like you're supposed to keep your full attention to like your inhale, exhale, and things like that. But then as you progress into like, or go deeper into your meditative practice, or when that focus becomes easier, they tell you to completely let go of that. Like they say, stop focusing on your breath and like stop trying to restrict your thoughts from coming, and just allow it all to come at once. But like the objective is not to pay attention to any of it. It's just you're supposed to allow your feelings to pass as they're coming.
But if you need an anchor at any point, you go back to your breath.
You go back to your breath.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the idea is that like you're supposed to allow your thoughts to run wild, your emotions to run every which way, but you yourself are supposed to stay centered in all of that. You know what I mean? And like, then it's like, how do you transfer that state into your everyday life? Because like, how do you live like that in like the waking world?
So hard.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
so
like,
hard.
But like, that's what comedy reminds me of, is that like you learn all of these tips and tricks until like you say, all right, fuck it, let me just like throw myself into the water now and see what happens. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, man. And actually looking back, I think the best thing, if I could go back and like, obviously you can't change your past and all that shit, and you know you're at where you're at because of whatever, so man, I wouldn't change all that shit. But like, if I could go back and like, instead of them teaching me constant, like the amount of attention and hours I put in my youth memorizing Quran, and no one is giving me the interpretation of the words. Like even though I speak Arabic, it's all ye old. Thespian to his breast. Like, hey, you ever fucking read Shakespeare? Like, I speak English. I don't know what the fuck they're saying. That's like Quran, you know? There's no focus on like what it means, what the lesson is. Like, if you want, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like memorize the words, memorize how you say it, everything. It's like, what's better for the lessons are the main thing here.
100%.
Right? But like that aside, if I had that time, like if I had people in my life who were teaching me breath control from a young age, that would have probably been the most powerful thing in my life. Because I had so much anxiety, and looking back, the way I could see it, just the way in my breath, bro. Because I remember how so many times I'd be doing tests and I'd be thinking, and I realized I'm not breathing, and I would just be like, like that. That's the thing I always did, where I would think so hard, I realized I stopped breathing.
Yeah, and
which is obviously a way lower level of thinking than like proper breath control is the highest level, right? Like all these fighters, all these like peak athletes, meditation, breath control. And I read Hicks and Gracie's book, Breathe. It's fucking crazy, bro. Just the diaphragmatic breathing and shit. Like, that's the best shit there is out there. And that's the shit that I was like, man, because that when you learn it young, you practice it. Like, you can actually apply it to your day-to-day life so much easier. Till this day, only probably the last 3-4 years have I learned about, like, probably 3 years have I been like, oh, what's meditation? Let me meditate. And then in meditation, you learn breath. Watch your breath. And then learning breath, you learn diaphragmatic breathing. Let all the air out, then let it all back into the lower part of the lungs and then the upper part of the lungs. Because I was just doing shallow, like, breathing.
Yeah, bro.
But if you do diaphragmatic, it's a whole different level of, like, lung, like, the lung volume of air you take in and out is, and you just achieve that level of peace and, like, at ease so much faster. Then all these years I was having many panic attacks of just like, okay, we're going to do this. I'm always in the future and not breathing. Like,
because it's also because your body gets used to like staying in that fight or flight shit. You know what I mean? Like your body's used to staying in a state where it's like, okay, I got to like, there's danger or there's like whatever fear present. And like, but like sometimes even that breathing shit, the reason why you have to, the reason why it becomes a constant reminder is because your body's like, your body almost gets scared of the fact that you're trying to calm it down. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like, yo, I have to.
It's like when someone's amped and you're trying to be like, chill, chill, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like nothing pisses off someone angrier when you tell them relax.
Just calm down, yeah.
Relax, fuck you. Yeah. That's exactly how I feel, bro. Even till this day, that's like, my level of anxiety is much higher. And it's not just like everyone deals with anxiety, but it's just like my poor breathing skills. And I have been in that. Like till this day, I have like trouble. I have a nail biting habit that like I can map my like mental health with how I go, the waves of biting nails, letting them grow. Like I go to the bottom. Nubs, bleeding, all the nails that are hurting. Every time I touch a spice, pain, constant pain. Fuck. Like even right now, look at my nails, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Bro.
They're gone, right? Yeah. So right now I'm in that booking the tour state. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But like, but every time I look at them, I'm like, it's a reminder. It's a physical manifestation of like my anxiety,
what's happening in
what's
here.
inside, right?
Yeah.
So every time I look at them, it's like, I'm like, fuck, okay, I got to get back. But like the one thing that I have learned is I used to judge myself. Fuck, look at you, man. Fuck, you can't stop. You're weak. Fuck, you're weak, bro. Stop. You think you're the shit. You're nothing. Look at your fucking nails. But then you learn you got to be like, okay, I accept the nails as they are right now. I'm fine with them as they are right now. But I want to actually stop biting in a way that's sustainable. Not just like I used to be like, okay, I'll wrap them up with tape. Yeah. I'll put spice on them. It's all these Band-Aid solutions. Yeah. In reality, you just, bro, if the most time I don't bite my nails is after deep meditation and hard workout. After I come back from the gym and after like, and I barely meditate deeply recently, which has been the shit, or sorry, has been shit. I'll do 1 minute max, and I'm like, I gotta go deeper, you know.
Yeah,
I just go, that's good. I got shit to do, you know. Which means like you haven't really.
You're
done
obviously
anything.
not like that.
You're
bro,
not there.
That's the same thing that I'm fucking facing too, and like, but the crazy thing is that like, in a way, I found like comedy itself to be kind of that other meditative outlet. You know what I mean? Like when you're on stage, having a good set or whatever the case is that like
when you're having a good set,
when you're not bombing, but like when you're having a good set, it's like in that moment, it's like, yo, there's literally nothing else. Like you're like, it's like the most present you feel. You know what I mean?
It's like the ocean. It's like the sky or some shit.
And it's like, and the thing is, like, I was in Zen Buddhism, they have this shit called, you ever heard of koans or koans or what? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but it's Koan. And like, basically they're like, they're stories, but essentially they're also jokes that like monks wrote and shit. And the idea was that like this story or like that laughter,
it's like knock knock, who's there? Yourself.
Yeah,
like, oh,
like that laughter or whatever is supposed to be like essentially that it makes you forget everything. Like you realize that like this is all there, like right now is all that there is. You know what I mean? Everything else, the fear that we're facing and all of those things are projections or things that we create for ourselves. Like there was a story that they said, I don't even know what the fuck the meaning of the story was, but it was like, it's called the sound of one hand clapping.
Oh yeah, that's
have I told you this?
Too. It's like, what's the sound of one hand clapping? Bart was like, here it is. Here it is. It's
oh
like,
no.
It's like, no, it's a fucking 1,000-year metaphor.
Yeah,
like
but this one was like basically there was a monk who was giving a lecture, and then a woman raises her hand and she's like, oh, like teacher, you talked about the sound of one hand clapping the other night, but you never explained what it was. Can you tell us what the meaning is? And he's like, yeah, come closer. So she walks up to the stage and she leans in. And after he's like, no, come closer. So she leans in closer. And then he slaps the shit out of her.
That's just Zen female domestic abuse. That's domestic abuse 1,000 years ago. I love it. But they also say, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make any sound?
Yeah,
that's like one of those other ones.
Yeah.
You're like, well, yeah. I was like, well, then how do you know? It's like, I don't know, physics. I mean, come on, bro. It's the way we understand everything. But I get what they're saying, though. You know what I mean? It's supposed to make you stop and just be like. I guess it's thinking about it makes you just be like in the moment.
Same thing with mantras. Like mantras aren't like, it's not like a magical word that you're chanting. The idea is that if you fixate on that word long enough, that's all that you're thinking about now. Like nothing else is there. So like obviously your body's going to react in a sense of calmness because now there's nothing else troubling you mentally. Right. And like your body's going to follow suit. So like there's like a whole science behind it. It's not just like this mystical thing, like, you know what I mean?
No, and a lot of these things, like a lot of these old teachings, they get applied in religion. That's why, and then religions package all the old wisdom from like all these tribes and all these people of thousands of years. They just package it together. In Islam, you take your sibha and you say subhanallah, 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 bismillah, bismillah, bismillah. That is like, you're supposed to say 30 of each. I forgot what the number is, but like that is the mantra. You're supposed to pray. And then when you're in prayer, you know what I loved I don't know if you've ever witnessed a Muslim prayer.
No, I don't think.
But we all, you pray, you put you've seen it. You've seen it in terrorist movies. You've seen it. They love to show that before they bomb and shit. Those motherfuckers. But you all go, you say Surah Al-Fatiha, like the story of the Fatiha, the beginning or the beginner, whatever, the opener. But then there's 5 prayers a day, and every prayer you do this one surah at the beginning, and then you change the surah in between the changing, you go Ameen, which everyone has Amen, right? But the Ameen is allowed. Everyone says Ameen. Only the leader says the surah. Only the leader. Let's say a congregation, the whole mosque, hundreds of people behind him. He's saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Only he's saying it. But then when he ends it, everyone goes, he goes Ameen, and everyone does the Ameen with him. And in that moment, there's hundreds of people harmonizing together. So it's this, the sound of people harmonizing together is very unifying. Very unifying. And it hits you in a deep level too. You know what I mean? Where it's like when I was a kid, I'm like, Ameen. And then and I'm like, this is God. This is definitely God, right? But then you grow up, you realize that's just like the power of harmonizing as a collective, you know? Then they built that into religion.
Even the vibration though. Like the vibration. You feel it. You feel the vibration.
And it makes you want to congregate and pray with a bigger group because the Ameen will be even stronger. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, religion is very good in the sense of like, they took all this wisdom early on. They're like, this will make it more essentially addictive. Like this will make you want to do it, make you feel good, make you feel present. You bend down. It's all kind of like yoga moves if you look at it, right?
Yeah.
It's stretching, breathing, presence, harmonizing with a group. It's all these things that like all these other teachings show like it are so beneficial for the human spirit.
100%, man. And like even like I talked about this on like one of those little dumb woke things that I did, but like when they talk about karma and shit, like when we talk about intergenerational trauma and all of those things, like intergenerational trauma is like a new concept now, but karma was basically describing that like centuries ago, because the idea like white women took it to a different level, and now it's like, like you know what I mean? Now it's like, oh, what goes around comes around, like you know what I mean? That's not, you know what I mean?
Shut the fuck up, Karen.
But that's not what it is. You know what I mean?
Come here, Karen. I'm gonna show you the sound of one hand slapping, one hand clapping. Yo, you just slapped the shit out of Karen.
I just like, no, you just hit a white woman. No, I did. I was explaining a monk story.
That's the sound of one hand clapping. Everyone's like, oh.
Oh fuck. But yeah, man, like karma was just preaching that same ideology that like whatever you do now is going to affect the next generation that comes. You know what I mean? In like a biological level and in a hereditary level, like whatever stress that we carry affects like our genetic makeup, like the amount of cortisol that we release, all of those
from
things.
a hormonal point of view.
From a hormonal point of view. And like genetically, that's what we're going to pass down to our kids, which means that the same way they react to stress, like on a behavior level, may not be the same, but genetically, that's exactly how their body's responding to it. So evidently, they're going to carry the same kind of trauma that you may have, the same kind of fears that you may have, just based off of a biological transference. You know what I mean? And it's like, that was something that had been known. It was just said in different dialect. It was just said in different words. So like when people say science and religion are complete opposites, there's a unified front that is there between both of them. They're not two separate entities.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. As I was raised very religious.
Yeah.
Then got older, was like, fuck religion. Just fuck all this shit. It's fake.
Yeah.
Atheism. Then I get older. The pendulum goes this way.
Yeah.
It goes the other way. Then it slowly makes its way into the middle, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like, I see the benefits. I didn't like how they rammed it down my throat. I think people could have talked to me. People could have told me about breathing. People could have told me it's okay to not do well.
Yeah.
No one told me it's okay to not do well. You know what I mean? So it's like all these problems just kind of with my raising. But like I'm saying, now that I'm looking at it logically, I'm like, the reason it's in the things are in the religion are because they work. Mm-hmm. And they work. They have a scientific backing. If it works, someone will tell me what the scientific backing is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I bet you fucking confessions in the Catholic Church, that's just therapy.
Yeah,
it makes
100%.
people feel good.
100%.
Right? Like if anyone who's like saying therapy, you got to do therapy, that's the basis of confessions, right? That's why it made it into the religion. It works. There's a science behind it. Maybe there was no actual literal science at the time, but they're like thousands of years of wisdom because, the human beings has had pretty much the same brain size for like 100,000 years.
Yeah.
And like we've been like living in the agricultural area for like 10,000. So we've pretty much been collecting knowledge. We've been pretty much the same intellect level or had the capacity.
Yeah.
Because some dumb motherfuckers right now. And 4,000 years, there were some even dumber motherfuckers, right? But like the capacity for intellect was the same pretty much all
100%.
along. So all those scholars, they're like, this is what you do. Then the young person passes that on and we're passing on. And then suddenly someone was like, I'm going to package all this into religion and I'm going to say that God told me the words.
Yeah.
And then, because it's like if John and Smith said them, it's like, fuck John and Smith. But God, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just see what's written in this shit. And it's actually all like, it's good shit.
Yeah.
Treat those how you want to be treated.
It's good shit.
It is. It's good shit, Treat those. I get to keep my land. Don't eat pork. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
They got worms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, but it can't be by a fucking, it has to be God.
Yeah.
It has to be God, especially back then, especially now. Like, it can't be a group of, like, look at Elon Hubbard and Scientology.
Yeah.
Though everyone openly jokes that shit because that motherfucker was a dude.
Yeah.
If they said God made that shit, then motherfucker would be like, yo, Scientology's got some, you know what I mean?
And that's why, like, even when you look at science, like you know what I mean? I think the reason why there's such a fucking, like conflict between the two is because people, like a lot of religious people will say like there's no
it's this or that.
It's absolute.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh well, you can't explain it was because God, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that's like it doesn't mean you defeat your curiosity about the world.
I know,
right?
man.
And I think that's where the conflict comes, because science also doesn't say that things are absolute fact, right? Like they say it's a theory, right?
This theory is the general approved one, not approved, but the general consensus right now is this.
Yeah,
until someone proves otherwise,
or until we find out something else,
and the community adopts that new one.
And the crazy thing is, like, I don't know why I always think about this shit, like sometimes when I'm by myself, is like, even in science, like when you look at like when the fact that we study things so minuscule, like atoms, molecules, and things like that. The more microscopic that we get, the more minuscule that we get, the bigger everything fucking seems. You know what I mean? The fact that like we know that atoms make up like the structure of everything, or matter, or all of that shit, but it's like to know that means that there's millions of billions of atoms that make up
Trillions,
our body, everything, bro.
Yeah.
But like then the question comes to mind, if that's what makes us up, our body and stuff like that, that still doesn't explain what life is. That doesn't explain that, like, why I'm conscious or why I'm having thoughts. It doesn't explain any of that. But that also doesn't mean that I'm going to say, oh, well, it has to be God. But then it's about questioning, like, why is it God? Like, why am I attaining it to that? Or why am I bringing it to that?
Attributing it
to that, right?
Yeah.
And then that's what the whole idea of self-reflection is. The more questions you have, the more answers you'll be able to create for yourself. But then the more questions you're going to have later on, right? Like one of the biggest things people will ask is like, well, if God exists, why does suffering exist? And then monks will say, or like a lot of gurus will say,
it's always a test.
Yeah, it's a test. Or they'll say shit like, well, who's actually suffering, right? Like they'll say that, like the idea that like everything is balanced. So like as much as there's evil in the world, there's just as much as good in the world to counteract it. And at the end of there is no evil and good. It all is. Like this is what it is. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, and in a way I know, and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
like I know
exactly
exactly what you mean, but in a way I don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's wild because I keep jumping around where it's like I'll meet a shitty Muslim. I'll be like, oh, this fucking religion is fucking people up. But then I'll meet a super smart, educated person that has like a very nuanced belief in Islam. I'm like, damn, bro, this guy's way smarter.
Yeah.
And has like knows way more than me on every subject. And like the way, sometimes very smart people, they rationalize religion in a very interesting way where I was like, maybe, bro.
Yeah.
If this motherfucker, the way they talk, like, maybe. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I really don't know. But it's like, when you tell me, bro, the earth was made in 6 days, 4,000 years ago. It's like, if you're saying it's in the book, that's how it went down. You're like, okay, I can't finish the conversation with you.
Yeah.
You gotta at least be like, okay, some of it was metaphorical. They're like, bro, my brother's like this, you know?
Yeah.
My brother's like, bro, there's 90 things in the Quran that were stated before science found them out. How did they know that the atom was smaller than a tenth of the rice? It's like, well, they see the rice, and they see sugar mixing in water, and it's not visible anymore. So they imagine, oh, it broke down.
Yeah.
Like, people had the capacity to be just as smart as we are back then. So it's like,
they just didn't use the same words.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't retarded back then, but it's like they didn't have the. So don't just be like, God, it's for sure a fact, because how would they have known these 7 things?
Yeah.
It's like people were smart back then too, bro.
Bro, and I think people discredit the power of storytelling. Like, storytelling isn't just fucking like, it's not like storytelling is not fake. Like the Bible or the Quran or like all of these stories, I wouldn't say they're fake, but they serve a purpose, right?
Yes, to transfer lessons and knowledge.
And that's exactly what it is, right? And like, one of the other crazy things, like when Carl Jung came up with the archetypes and shit, is that like, why is it that like universally, when you look at stories, they all have the same kind of structure, like structure as in there's a hero,
or whatever the fuck.
There's a hero, there's a villain, there's a fucking, you know what I mean? There's some kind of
like
problem.
Look at Pixar movies, dude.
Facts. There has to be some kind of evil that is overcome, right? And that's like a universally established thing, but like, why? Like, no one, like, why is it that, look, we just know as human beings that this is how life works or that's how stories work.
Yeah, it's something about like this general format of a message is the most digestible.
Yeah.
And the most memorable.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Because we see, most people see themselves as the main character of whatever story they're hearing, right? So it's like, if I'm not triumphed, if I don't get triumphed at the end, it's like, I'm going to forget it. Fuck that story.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that. You know what I mean? The person dies. Like, fuck that. You know what I mean? You have to be like overcoming. It has to be something like, yes, you know? It has to be a Coach Carter type of fucking situation, right? Like, we are powerful beyond our wildest imagination. Remember that guy?
We are
I feel like that's who you would work with. When I think of you working, I feel like you're in front of a class who just reading poetry like that.
No, that's what I thought was going to happen when I got out of school. But now it's like, hey, do you need any counseling support? Yo, fuck off, bitch. And it's like, oh, no, I'm here to save you.
Niggas, you can't save. He's at the PTA. You can't save these kids. You cannot. These kids are fucked.
Oh, bro, the funniest one was like, oh fuck, there was a story that one of these people that I was talking to that I know that works in the field. They were telling me a story about how one day they went into work, and it was like their first day on the job, and they had to serve meals, right? So they were serving meals, and then this one kid was just flipping the fuck out, and they're like, yo, I'm not gonna serve you meals if you're talking to me like that. And then their supervisor was like, you gotta give the kid food, like, you know what I mean? And she's like, yeah, boil my fucking hot dogs, bitch. She's like, go boil my fucking hot dogs.
You're like, this is why they're like that. Don't tell me that in front of the child, you know? That's so fucking funny. Yo, boil that shit. Yo, cut that shit up too. Slice it nice and thin.
Fuck. Yeah, you know what's fucked? Is that like I knew people...
Good to know that our tax dollars are going to good money, getting these street youth boiled hot dogs, you know?
I knew people boiled them, but I didn't know I was the only one that fucking baked them.
Oh, people bake them. Immigrants bake because we don't trust the raw. We're like, there's something in them. We gotta hit them with heat.
Okay, so you fucking get it then, bro.
Yeah, hell
you know how many comics I've talked to about this, and they're like, dude, why are you using the biggest appliance in your house for something?
They're thinking energy, which by the way, I'll microwave it too.
People
and
told
then
me
like
that.
it rips, and then the more it rips, you're like, yeah, that shit's done. It's a rip. But you could cook a hot dog is ready to eat, and however you cook it, however you fucking cook it. Like boil it, barbecue it, oven it, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but I was tossing like 2 hot dogs in the oven.
Okay, yeah, that's like $18 in electricity, bro. You know? You're like, this is the only way to do it, bro. Let's fucking land this episode.
All right, bro.
Yo, homie, just as always, just look into the camera, let the people know what you're up to, where they can find you and shit, bro. Your handle and whatever the fuck.
Yeah, well, boss already mentioned it, but Candlewide tour started in November. They're going places. Holla at the kid. You can find all the tickets at Eventbrite and abbaswahab.com, right?
Goddamn, yeah. Once you get a site up, we'll put all the links on there too, bro. Get your site up, bro.
It'll be on soon come, jessysig.com. But you guys can holla at me on Instagram. I just downloaded TikTok, so you could holla at me in there. Same handle at the Punjabi Timbit. Also check out my Dumb Woke podcast or video segments. You could check them out on YouTube, on Instagram at Dumb Woke. On the Instagram page, it's under at the Punjabi Timbit. So thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Scroll down. You'll find all this man's info. One of the realest guys in the game. And we'll be on tour as well with Mo Ismail. Abbas Wahab. 4 tickets. Come out and see us everywhere. I'm amped for this shit. And if you like the show, as always, click like, subscribe, all that stuff. But until next time, thank you for tuning in. Your boy Abbas Wahab signing out. Thank you for coming on.
Peace,
Jesse.
baby.
I appreciate you.
Epitome.
That's the Epitome. That's the name of the episode. Probably not. All right. Till next time. Peace.
Peace, baby.